This is Jupiter Today for the 3rd of December 2014. Jupiter Today is a daily podcast focusing attention on the Jupiter system for the purpose of monitoring activity. The position of Jupiter on the celestial sphere at 0 hours UTC is a right ascension of 9 hours, 39 minutes, 51.8 seconds, and a declination of positive 14 degrees, 45 minutes, 30.8 seconds. The angular separation from the Sun today is 108.156 degrees, and that's 0.993 degrees greater than what it was yesterday. The distance between the Earth and Jupiter continues to get less and less every day. Today, it is 736,131,535 kilometers, and that's 2,235,051 kilometers shorter than yesterday. And that makes the relative velocity between the Earth and Jupiter be 93,127.13 kilometers per hour, moving toward one another. And that's 503.16 kilometers per hour slower than yesterday. The central meridian at 0 hours UTC, CM1, 154.84 degrees, CM2, 202.65 degrees, and CM3, 202.65 degrees. At 0 hours UTC, Io begins the day in quadrant 4, heading east, but in Jupiter's shadow. Europa starts today in quadrant 4, moving east. Ganymede also starts in quadrant 4, heading east. And Callisto spends the entire day in quadrant 2, heading west. 6 hours UTC, Io has moved behind Jupiter and is now in quadrant 1, heading east. "12 hours UTC, Io is in quadrant 2 at its eastern elongation, now starting to head west. Ganymede, as you can see, is in the shadow of Jupiter. It will move into the shadow of Jupiter and also move out of the shadow of Jupiter today. At 1800 hours, Io is in quadrant 2, heading west. Europa is in the shadow of Jupiter. Ganymede is passing behind Jupiter, and Callisto continues in quadrant 2, heading west, ever closer to Jupiter from our point of view. And by 0 hours tomorrow, Io is transiting Jupiter, now in quadrant 3, heading west. Europa has moved behind Jupiter and is now in quadrant 1, heading east, and Ganymede is also in quadrant 1, heading east. There are 10 Jupiter satellite events. The first is at 3:08 UTC, when Io reappears from behind Jupiter. At 11:25 UTC, Ganymede disappears into the shadow of Jupiter. At 15:04, Ganymede reappears from the shadow. At 1616, Ganymede disappears behind Jupiter. At 1749, Europa disappears into the shadow of Jupiter. At 1956 UTC, Ganymede reappears from behind Jupiter. At 2056, Io's shadow ingresses. At 2206 UTC, the transit of Io begins. At 2302, Europa reappears from behind Jupiter. And at 2312, the shadow of Io egresses. There is one satellite mutual event. This takes place from 2111 to 2116 UTC, and it's when Io occults Ganymede. This 5.1 minute event has an estimated magnitude drop of 0.271. "24 hours of Jupiter sky." There's Europa and Ganymede slowly moving towards the shadow of Jupiter. Those will be happening a little bit later. Also, towards the end of the day, Io's shadow is going to pass across Jupiter. And there goes Europa. And there reappears Europa. And there's Io. The red spot crosses the central meridian of Jupiter twice today. The first is at 7 hours UTC, and the second is at 1656. There are some new images of Jupiter posted. This one was taken on the 30th of November 2014 at 11:24 UTC. And this is Io just moving out of transit. This is the North Pole, this is the South Pole. And Io is moving this way. And this is the same, taken with a different telescope, therefore the optics are slightly different. Size is going to be different. And the same individual about a half an hour before the one you just saw. And you can see that Io is a little further back. There was also radio data today posted for the 1st of December 2014. The horizontal axis is the UT time, and the vertical axis is the frequency in megahertz. There were no new papers, so please subscribe. I'd like to hear your comments, Send your images of Jupiter or the Jupiter system, along with the time that you took the images, to the email shown. And until tomorrow, I bid you peace.